Hi there, I'm Erin. I'm the curriculum author behind Let's Cultivate Greatness. I create social studies resources for middle and high school teachers, as well as homeschool families. Today I wanted to walk you through one of my newest workbooks called United States Geography Through Maps. And I designed it to really try to tackle kind of three things at once. First, covering some core United States geography topics, as well as examining various types of maps. I mean, there's really all sorts of types of maps. And so I created this collection of 36 maps to really expose students to all the different ways that information can be displayed in map form. And then thirdly, to really strengthen and advance map reading skills and critical thinking skills using maps as the material. So without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so you have the table of contents. This kind of gives you a good overview of the types of maps that are included, not just real basic foundational maps that are either a good review or a good laying the foundation, depending on where your child is with their familiarity of maps and map skills. And then it works through real core topics to geography, population, kind of cultural, historic, as well as then transportation maps that they'll encounter in the real world. And then maps that are called kind of thematic maps, meaning that they're maps really intended to display data, content that you might find more in textbooks or news articles, things like that. All right in the beginning, it gives you a good kind of overview of what you'll find in the book. It breaks down the learning sequence. Just a quick glance, you can see each of the maps follow this kind of 5-activity format. So here in the front, it gives you kind of directions and ways to do that. There are 36 maps in the book. The idea is a typical school year is 36 weeks. So you can do a map a week if you would like. And then if you wanted to even do like a 5-10 minute activity each day, you can do it this way. Or you could sit down and do maybe one map all in one sitting, depending on the age and the interest of your student. And then throughout all of the maps, these are the geographic skills that are being worked on and strengthened. So in the very beginning, we start off with just the most basic maps. So this could either be an introduction to maps in general, if your child is there, or if they are a little bit older, this is just a good solid review. And so it introduces you just to what is a political map and kind of gives you a summary here of just some core vocabulary. And like as you can see, there's the 5 activities. And the first one is where the student really just sits and thinks about the map, makes some guesses, some wonderings about the map, just a few minutes to really kind of sink in and soak in what the map is offering and kind of start thinking about the map. Then the activities, the later activities then dive a little bit deeper, kind of incrementally. So if you have a younger child and this is their first experience with maps, maybe you just do the first couple. And maybe if you circled back another year, you would do the more advanced ones. Or if you have an older child and this is just review, then they could probably knock this all out maybe in just one sitting. But the second activity is just really challenging the student to look even closer at certain aspects of the map, then really get into a more analytical level with the dig deeper questions. Then the fourth one I really like is challenging the students to apply this map, thinking as if they were the map maker or they were someone who in the real world was using the map. Really asking yourself, why was the map created the way it was? What details are in there? What details aren't? If there's anything about the map that creates confusion or misrepresents the information it's trying to communicate. So really challenging kids to dig deeper about what's in the map and what's not in the map. And then the final thing are 2 extension activity ideas. You're welcome to do both. You could do one, and this is where you can really spend maybe an extra day or 2 with each map if you'd like. So right out of the gate starts with a basic political map, basic physical map, some latitude and longitude skills, time zones, kind of what makes a region. So again, very foundational skills. Then you flip through, you start getting into more population maps. You can see all sorts of things, really learning about kind of the cultural and demographic makeup of the country. And actually purposely included also were some maps related to Native tribes, not just their land use, but also their cultural history in this part of the world. Then we look at, here we have some historical maps. Then we get into the types of maps that students really will need to know how to be able to read in adulthood. Highway maps, train maps, an airport map, and probably my favorite, like a subway map. I mean, imagine being in a city and you'd never ridden the subway before, being able to read a subway map, which does look a lot different than other sorts of maps. And then towards the end of the book, we get into more geographic features, and then natural resources. These are the kind of maps you really would see in textbooks of all kinds. You might see in news articles. So really maps that you would see in an academic setting or that really communicate information more than kind of the physicalness of a place. And then as always, of course, in the back, there are suggested answer keys to go with the questions. So if you need that kind of extra help or your child wants to check their answers, they're there for them. All right, thank you for watching. And if you want to take a look at this book, I'll leave the link in the description below, as well as with some other geography or US geography books that I have as well. Thanks so much.